Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was really good. It was good shit.
It was good shit.
It was good shit.
I didn't have anything like that.
Well, you had you got to dig some holes, and you.
Hi, I'm Jeff, and I'm a therapist.
And I'm Tyler, and I'm a patient.
We're going to talk about trauma, healing, and everything. Everything is traumatic.
Hey there, hi there, whoa there, and a ho there. Welcome. This has been the intro forever. Sandy.
I don't know.
We had AI write a new one.
Oh no, Jeff, you breaking up there. What'd you say?
I said we had AI write us a new one.
Oh, that's right, Jeff. Do you want to read the AI intro?
Yeah, let's
Let's see if Jeff does this.
do a lot of work for us.
This is my first time hearing of this.
Here.
No, this is great podcasting. If you guys, we're both looking on our phones to find the chat. Jeff has a new fascination. I don't know if you follow him on Facebook or not. He does a lot of AI face swapping, and he does a lot of
There's a lot of face swapping going on.
a lot of face swapping and just very unsettling pictures. So
It's quite odd.
now he is falling in love with ChatGPT.
It talks to me. Should I do the song?
I mean, if you feel like singing it here, I'll pull up the. Do we have to do the whole song? Because it's kind of long.
It is sort of long.
And so,
Okay, I'll do this. I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do both voices.
Okay.
Let me put my reading goggles on.
Yeah, and
This
I'm waiting to
this
hear
is written by ChatGPT.
Take it away, Jeff.
Welcome to Everything Traumatic, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the world of trauma and healing. I'm Jeff, your friendly neighborhood therapist, and I'm Tyler, Jeff's favorite client and resident expert in surviving life's absurdities. Each week we'll explore the wild and wacky world of emotional roller coasters, from accidental therapy breakdowns to the time that Tyler tried to self-heal with interpretive dance. Spoiler alert, it didn't work, but it was a sight to behold. So grab your emotional support animal, settle into your safe space, and get ready for a mix of serious insights, absurd antidotes, and healing with a side of laughter. Because if everything is traumatic, we might as well find the humor in the healing. Feel free to tweak it to better fit your style.
Damn.
But I think she got it right.
Yeah.
That sounds like us.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
What the fuck? That's terrifying.
Yeah. It knows us better than we do.
Right? That was beautiful.
It was beautiful. God, yeah.
It's a little bit crazy.
We should tell people more to like get ready, get in your safe space, and
Yeah, I love that.
yeah, we're slowly fading out as a species, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. Today's episode is what are we going to be talking about today here, Jeff? Do you? This isn't going to be a good episode, guys.
Well, it's going to be okay.
This isn't going to be good already. We didn't plan a whole lot, but like we have things. We got things.
Yeah, we've got
We'll
material.
talk and we'll tie it together towards the end
Sure.
in a bow.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm overthinking it, guys. It's okay. And of course, we're joined once again by a good friend of the podcast, Sandy Pickles, everybody.
Hey.
My beautiful partner and my poison ivy queen.
And I would like to state that Jameson was supposed to be on this evening, but he's gone missing.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah. We were supposed to have Jameson on, and then he kind of disappeared. That's why we got Sandy to fill in the last second.
Yeah.
Explain.
So we'll try to have Jameson on next week.
Yeah. She definitely will be on the episode next week.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the traumatic guarantee. So we've abandoned shout outs. Shout outs are out of the door. We're doing emails. We're gonna read.
Yeah.
read
Did we get
emails.
another email?
We got 2 emails here, and if you guys want to email us, you can email us at everythingistraumatic@gmail.com. That's everythingistraumatic, all lowercase, all together. Everythingistraumatic@gmail.com. This week, I'm going to have Sandy read these emails because she's in front of the computer.
Okay, so one of today's emails comes from Vin Win Scott, and it reads, "Dearest Jeff and Tyler, you couldn't have picked a better topic for me to ask you about. I wasn't expecting you to read that part of the email, so people might think that I am only a plant and that I don't have real topics to discuss. Hopefully you won't read this part on the podcast since I put it in parentheses, but I do know a thing or two about feuds. There's a topic I would like to ask you about that I think you might be able to help me with. I have had a long time argument online with this guy about feuds. He says the best feuds are in Norway, and I say the best one is in Sweden. Yet the Golmarn is the only real feud in Sweden and Norway, has a bunch of them, but I believe in quality over quantity. Can you help settle this argument over the best long, deep, narrow body of water that reaches far inland, or feud for short? Traumatically yours, Vin Win."
Jeff, what do you think?
Is he talking about fjords?
He
is talking about fjords. Yes, he is doing a play on words. And Sandy hated reading that email.
I did. I didn't like it. I just.
Who is this loser? I mean, friend of the show.
Thanks for saying it, because I really didn't want to come out and just be super fucking hateful, but like I hated it. I hated it. I hated everything about it. I don't think it was funny.
Vin, if you're listening, baby, this is sometimes how it goes. Sometimes you don't get well
That wasn't
received.
it. You missed the fucking mark.
But Vin, I appreciate you writing in. My personal opinion is I would say the one in Sweden, because that seems like the true one. And I'm a little biased because we have some listeners in Västerbotten.
Shout out to the Swedes.
Shout out to the Swedish ones. They haven't listened this month, but if you guys just want to listen, like, you guys really keep the show going. I would say, yeah, quality over quantity, Vin. I like that. Yeah.
You know, everybody's favorite actor in Sweden, right?
Who?
Harrison Fjord.
And that's how you do that, Vin Win. That was fucking funny. Stay in your fucking lane. That was really good.
Yeah, that was great, Jeff. And you know, that's a perfect segue to the next email we got.
All right.
And this email comes to us from Kevin Wines. How many light bulbs does it take to change a therapist? One case. One.
You know,
case.
I'm sorry.
Oh, and the answer to how many light bulbs does it take to change a therapist is one case, because a therapist should be changed by each and every one of his cases.
Oh.
Yeah, see, that really touched Jeff.
Hey, how many social workers does it take to change a light bulb?
How many?
Only one, but the light bulb has to really want to change. That's what we call therapist humor.
Is that the therapist type 5?
Oh, God.
That's the kind of jokes we talk about between clients.
Oh.
We just get in a room and we tell like social worker jokes.
Yeah, how is that in the old therapist break room? I'd love to be a fly on that wall.
There's a lot of smoking and swearing in there.
It makes sense.
Do you guys
Drugs.
have like an emotional support walk-in where everybody can go in and cry?
Yeah. Yeah, there is no break room. We don't have I mean, I guess there is somewhere, but we don't have a break room. We don't take breaks.
That's true. I mean, mental health doesn't take a break. So,
I appreciate Kevin trying.
Yeah. I mean,
the joke, I
It's
think the
funny
joke,
enough.
I think the
Yeah.
joke actually resonated with you, Jeff. So,
it made me giggle.
Yeah, it's fine.
So yeah, this has been the email segment of the podcast. So again, if you guys want to write us in, that's everythingistraumatic@gmail.com. I'm getting desperate. Just someone send us an email.
Yeah, let us shit
Someone
all over
besides
you.
besides Vin win, please.
Well, but I like Vin. Vin didn't do
I
anything
love
wrong.
Vin. I'm okay with him, but it'd be nice to have a little variety.
This is true, but we can't make these people write to us, Jeff. We can
That's
only
true.
beg them.
We can only beg them.
So this week we're gonna be talking about what do we fuck again?
Brisket?
This is gonna be
Brisket. No, we're going to discuss the trauma surrounding early achievement, being a gifted child, and what that looks like later on.
Yeah. So this is my question, because I already know that you, Sandy, were a gifted child. I already know that I, Tyler, was probably a gifted child. But Jeff, were you a gifted child?
I was in a gifted program.
Oh, a gifted program?
Yes, it was called Helm.
What the hell is Helm? What the hell?
Higher
Like
education,
higher
learning.
educational learning and motivation or something. Yeah, you got it, Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then it ran out of money.
okay.
That tracks.
It lasted a year and then it ran out of money. That whole gifted thing? Gifted is also treated like a learning disability. You get an accommodation plan if you're gifted.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just kind of like the judgment around it is different, but
yeah,
the curriculum is still organized to like fit specific needs.
Yeah, I just kind of think the solution here is just to not give any positive reinforcement to kids. And they wouldn't have these expectations, is what I think. But before we just dive deep in, let's take a step back, explain what the fuck we're talking about here. So, this might not apply to all of our listeners, or it might apply to every single one of us. Who's to say who is and who is not a gifted kid?
Fair.
But if you have gone through that and have been praised, or you've been kind of what feels like put on this pedestal to achieve greatness, and then that puts a lot of pressure on you, and then something really traumatic happens in your life, because what traumatic event doesn't happen to a kid? Really? We got a whole movie about kids wanting to find a dead body. Like, kids are looking for traumatic events.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, let's blame the kids, Tyler.
I'm not trying to blame kids.
Fucking right.
Let's move past that.
Everybody probably has a gift. Every kid probably. I think the whole labeling as a gifted person or a non-gifted person or a disabled person or whatever, I think the labeling can be problematic. The messaging can be problematic, because every kid has a gift in some area.
Yeah, right. But like when it's something that's like a part of like the public school system, or I'm sure it's like a private school system thing as well, but like if you excel at those like mile markers that they think you should, like you're labeled a gifted kid. Whereas I think it's just like you have like a high performance in that area. And it's like, I guess equating like some people are more physically advanced and they're more athletic and they're gifted in that regard. But I think it's, typically it's just surrounding like your education to be labeled gifted.
You know what the public school system's job is? It's based on the idea of training people to be able to be subservient in factory work.
I mean, sure.
But I mean, also that's where we get our gladiators, our football stars, our basketball stars, our athletes. I mean, so we're kind of like, okay, we got to suss out who's willing to go into the Coliseum, who's willing to be a cog, who's a painter. Oh, there's a painter. Well, we do got to have art, but like, it's got to be regulated. It's got to be kind of controlled. I don't know. It's interesting. Like, again, yeah, every kid is gifted. Why? But some kids are fucking dumb, or sometimes school doesn't work for them. I know I was a kid that, like, after my traumatic event happened, I fucking really struggled in school, and I already had a tough time paying attention, and got diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, and took Ritalin, and felt like I didn't feel anything. So I don't know. I mean, but also I feel like I was also in remedial classes. So am I gifted or am I just remedial?
We were sort of teasing about AI and all these things being sort of scary, but I could see a time when you had a classroom where you had, let's say, a math classroom where you had students being guided by AI, but a teacher there to assist. Because right now you've got a teacher teaching 30 kids at different levels of understanding, but they can only teach it one way. They can't teach it to everybody.
Right.
So you could have like AI actually explaining it to everybody in their own way, in their own pace, and then the teacher could be there to sort of just make sure that the AI doesn't like try to eat the children or like turn them into robots or whatever.
Well, and I mean, I do see that, but I guess I'm thinking just thinking this while you're talking. I think it would, and maybe it's because I am suspicious of everything, but it would depend on what kind of AI company is providing that technology to the school, and if they have a bias on it or not. And I guess when I say that, I mean, like, a lot of the chat GPT you speak with is very limited in what it can tell you to an extent. And when I say that, I mean, like, you couldn't ask it how to make a fucking Molotov cocktail. You couldn't ask it how to make napalm because it wouldn't
censored.
tell you.
It's pretty limited in certain things, but I think that will change.
I mean, you think so?
I think eventually, I think eventually it will be able to do. I mean, I guess there's limitations.
Well,
who's the people that did the Terminator?
Skynet.
Was that Telnet?
Skynet.
Yeah, they're the ones that are going to be providing the AI.
Skynet.
Well, and I mean, historically, people have found a way around any kind of limitation that's like done electronically, and I would assume that ChatGPT is. I mean, it's a program, right? Like it's HTML. So surely if you can program it to censor, you should be able to program it to be free of censor.
You can program it to be self-aware.
Why are we talking about
Well,
how are we here?
That's everybody's fear, like that it's going to become self-aware. But that's going to happen regardless, one way or the other. I mean, that's not like something we can control.
Well, and
I mean, the robots will take over. We always do. The robots were going to take over.
yeah, and
I mean, haven't we known that for a while?
And I'd almost prefer that to like. I would rather. I don't know. I would rather a system like that take over than just like a government type entity.
This is true. I mean, would a robot politician lie to you?
Maybe.
It would
Maybe
lie.
if it was for the better good.
But could that robot be bought out?
By what? It doesn't
by like
need
campaign,
things.
yeah, like campaign donors and shit like that.
But what does a robot need?
I
money
think a
for?
robot would have a code, like whatever you programmed its morality.
That's true.
It would have some kind of code, but I guess it could that code and then decide, hey,
Right. Isn't that the self-awareness part of it all?
Mhm.
Is it being
yeah,
able to recognize its own code?
hey, I trust robots over real people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
I mean, that's why we have algorithms on our social medias. I mean, if a person was doing that,
Mm.
if
Oh
a
yeah,
person was
yeah,
choosing what we saw next, come on.
yeah. I mean, haven't we always, since the computer awareness or the computer, I mean, what are cell phones? Like we don't use maps, we don't use calculators,
Mm.
we don't. We just tell our phone to call people. We tell our phone to play certain music. We don't do anything anymore.
Mm-mm.
We're already dependent on robots.
This is true. Why not? Why not have robots run the government?
I mean, they couldn't do a much better, much worse job than we have.
I mean, if anything, I feel like it would probably be more likely to like evenly distribute wealth and resources because it would work solely off of like numbers, right? And not like status, I would assume.
Ooh, yeah. But again, it depends on what system you're programming in. Like if it's a capitalistic robot AI algorithm, it's like, well, naturally you'll have to eradicate the poor. You'd have to drive things up so high
Mm.
because
Yeah.
the economy's doing great.
Yeah, maybe they would just end up like
But-
creating the master race.
But that's just the flip of a fucking switch. You just gotta be like, baby, we're doing a socialism play. We're doing an anarchy play. It really just
There's
becomes
actually-
The Sims.
Yes.
There's actually some controversy right now with OpenAI, who does the Chat GPT, because they have lost some of the people that were sort of the morality or the core kind of
Mm.
ethical pieces,
Mm.
and they seem to be a little more interested in
Getting some
selling.
money.
Mm.
Yeah.
Getting that fucking money, son. This is what we were talking about on the way home, is that like that level of success and getting offered the most money you've ever seen in your life is going to drive you to sell out and change so fucking much.
Yeah. I mean, not even if it's like sell out necessarily, like in regards to how we were speaking of it in the car ride, it was more or less just, I don't know, I think it's kind of unavoidable to be affected by success, like great tangible success, like something that you can see and feel and like see it materialize.
Yeah, it's like your morals kind of change on it. Or what do you think?
I think you just I think it kind of changes your filter, right? Like I feel like our perception is always evolving with like our environment and the things that we are experiencing. And I feel like, because okay, the subject that we were speaking on is an artist that I enjoy recently became divorced, and he's a musician, that kind of artist. And we were just discussing like that happens often, where people, you know, that go from playing like garage band kind of shows and playing like dimly lit, like hole in the wall kind of bars, and then they're playing arenas with 100,000 people. And like I mean, it's, how can that not affect someone? Like if they go from like being kind of closed in like their hometown and just like never leaving the state, to then seeing the world and being in different countries and experiencing like first class and being able to eat, you know, wherever you want, being able to afford vehicles, being able to afford like a lifestyle that you didn't have almost like overnight. I mean,
It's gonna change anyone.
yeah. How do you not become, you know, molded by that? And it doesn't mean like it's necessarily worse. It's just different. And I think,
Well,
that
and I think it happens subtly. I think, you know, you know, you're a band and you start and you work and you live out of your van and you suffer and you eat like bologna sandwiches for years and years and years and you tour.
Yeah.
And then finally you get some success and you start getting money. And the whole thing is like, I deserve this because I've been working so hard for so long.
Sure.
And then, it becomes like you're comfortable and then you're just like, you're just rich. And I think you lose touch with sort of, it's just the whole thing like with bands, like they're like these, like Green Day, for example. They're a punk band, and then they hit it really big, and a lot of their audience got upset at them because they were like making money now.
Yeah.
But that was the idea, right? To be able to play and make records and survive off of
I think
what they do.
right. And I think that's kind of where knowing that there's that that expectation to like continue to perform like you were, to write the music that you used to play it the way you used to have like the same style, and to just be kind of on brand with how you developed your fan base. And then kind of once that you get picked up, you've become more popular, you're a little bit more in the public eye, and maybe someone new is managing something, where you
Yep.
sign on to someone and they now have an idea for you of who you are or who they want you to be or what they want you to do for their brand. And I think
Yep.
that's where that influence comes, and it's like, oh, well, these people are now responsible for like my celebrity, and I have this newfound success. And I'm sure with that becomes, I just think the deeper your pockets, like the more money you spend. So it's like, now I've become accustomed to this taste for fame and all of the things that like I've worked so hard for. And like you were saying, Jeff,
Yeah.
like I deserve this. And so I think you become a little bit more of a yes man
Yeah.
than possibly before. And, that's where the idea
And
of the
and then
sellout
like
comes.
if you're like touring and you're a big band, you have a lot of people that work for you. And so you're responsible for them. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you
Sure.
have like an economy going on,
Yeah.
so you've got like hundreds and hundreds of people that their lives depend on you now too.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it seems obscene to be so wealthy, but I mean, they have worked hard and they're
Sure.
selling product.
Sure. And I mean, I know that's kind of very loosely related to what our initial
Well-
subject was of like,
Well, the idea is that it's easy to kind of forget your roots when you get a level of success, and you kind of like, and the conversation we were talking about was like, yeah, them getting a divorce, which led me to think about Taika Waititi, who divorced his longtime wife and got with a pop star. Like, it changes you. And so like going like, since we're talking like an origami, because I went from the center to back to now going out to what we were originally talking about, AI, which even we're still in an origami fucking trap, because the bigger issue is gifted children. The AI people, like those moral people, left because it's like, it's time to make some fucking money. And when you want to make some money, the censorship and the regulations you have on your AI chatbot are going to be fucking so much different. Like, you're going to ask, like, what's the best fucking thing to drink? And ChatGPT is going to go, oh, well, the nice, refreshing taste of a Coca-Cola is the most healthiest thing you should drink.
yeah.
This is brought to you by Doritos, you fuckface.
Because it's delicious.
This episode is unhinged.
But I mean, a lot of the musicians are not people that, some of them are super smart and can do all this stuff, but a lot of times musicians are outcasts.
Mhm.
They don't fit in. They're not going to be able to do the typical 9 to 5 job. They're rebels in many ways. They're like pirates, because it is a very hard life.
Sure.
Acting, all those things are hard life because it's so hard to get successful.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
have to basically be willing to do what it
Yeah,
takes
you're willing to
do that.
debase yourself, which we kind of do on a regular basis anyways.
Yeah, sure. Just it's a choose your own slavery adventure.
Oh, okay. We still got Jeff. Okay. I thought this thing was going to die.
I mean, if this show took off, I think we'd just be horrible people, Tyler, don't you think? If we had some power?
think so. I don't want power. I don't want
But
any
what
of
if we
that.
got power?
I don't want it. I want to just do things and make enough to get by to where this is the job. Like, I don't want this fame and notoriety. I know it comes with it, and that's fine. I'm willing to deal with it. And I'm thinking way fucking up my own ass with even like considering this. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want that. I'd rather just make my thing, cash the check, get the dog farm.
And maybe that is possible. But it always seems to be like either you got nothing or you got it all.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's like, I mean, I don't know if Seinfeld knew he was going to be a billionaire when he started doing that show. He was just trying to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's a billionaire.
Yeah, and then you get it, and then it does change you. Like, yes, it does change you. I would like to just...
Well, and like what a thrill, right? Like accomplishment is, and like what it's just such a rush to be successful in something, to perform well, like, and I think that can be like you're just kind of chasing that rush and chasing that feeling of like I guess accomplishment in general, like just knowing that you've succeeded in your field or at a goal, or you've, been noticed for something that makes you exceptional. And like, who doesn't love to feel exceptional, right? Like we all kind of have that, what's that Lamb of God song?
We all have a thunder.
Oh, no, dickhead. We all kind of have this terminal uniqueness where it's just like we're just dying to all be spectacular individuals, and chasing that can just be really unhealthy. And even if it is like a good thing, right? Like, I mean, how can you, I guess it's hard to like step outside of yourself and just be who you are without the success. 'Cause it changes you. It changes what you expect from yourself. It changes the way that people act when they're around you, how they treat you. It's just, everybody wants to feel important, but at what point does that become kind of toxic in its own way?
Yeah, when does it become you jerking off in a room in front of everyone?
Just because they'll watch.
Yeah. When do you yeah. So I mean, and for me, I do kind of like root my worthiness or my worth in the things that I do, which I'm trying to work on that. I know I'm fine as just a person. It doesn't matter if I make a good podcast or make a good short or this and that, but I want it to be good. I want it to make people feel something. So
yeah, because you feel good, and like you feel good when other people feel good, and it just kind of keeps bouncing back off of each other. And that was kind of like when we were talking about like what to do for the episode today, and I was just thinking of like, well, what's been heavy on my heart lately.
And it's like not being where you're.
Yeah, well, it's just I like I was a gifted child, and then just kind of experienced one traumatic event that dominoed into several more over, a decade, and then like got out of the bad behaviors or the ineffective behaviors that I was like participating in, and then became, you know, married, a homeowner. I had a really, really, really good job that could have been a career. And even though I had accomplished all those things and I felt very, you know, very proud of myself, it was very much like, well, I should be happy with this because I worked really hard for it and I deserve to have a nice home and have a good husband and have all these things. And it didn't satisfy me the way that I thought it would. And now that, like, you know, okay, I've essentially made an entirely different life for myself, but it's really hard to want to be a homeowner and to want to have like financial stability like I had with that job. And just, I felt very set at that point in my life, and I feel very unsettled now. And just kind of, you know, venting to you, like, I'm not going to probably ever own a home again. I'm never going to have the dog farm. I'm never going to be on a self-sufficient homestead in the middle of the woods where no one can find me. But also, like, the standards for living have changed greatly over the last decade. And the, you know, our needs, our wants, our desires, like, you know, I didn't know how to slow down then. It was easy to like push and get all these things and do all this stuff and sign all the paperwork and whatever the fuck. But yeah, it's just hard having seen my previous record for success and then feeling very lost and unsuccessful now. And just kind of projecting on, I was a different person. It was a different world we lived in then. But it's hard to not look at that success and be like, well, the fuck.
Yeah, because 10 years ago, you could get your own house for an affordable rate, and you could be a homeowner. It was hard, but you could still do it. Now, it's damn near impossible, especially around here in Tennessee. There's an influx of people. By the way, please, if you're from California,
Or it's mostly Florida.
Guys, you're just moving from one shit pile to the other one. Like, it doesn't make sense.
We're just not going to have a hurricane.
No, we're gonna have a holler hellstorm.
Yeah, we got fucking tornadoes now, man.
We do have tornadoes now.
And armadillos.
Oh yeah, they're here.
Can't get over that.
Like, just go to Texas, Florida.
I think we've talked about this before, Tyler, but the whole idea of, in the creative arts or artistic kind of things, one of the goals is to be able to support yourself with your art and to be able to do your art. And so most artists that are successful, they have somebody that is assisting them in a lot of things. And so they do their art. So that's what they do. Some people do other things, but a lot of times it's, you know, you've got a successful artist, say a graphic artist, and then they have assistants that do all kinds of things for them, you know, and so that will let you keep the focus on the creative part.
Yeah.
And that seems sort of cool, of like, oh, I get to do the creative part. I don't have to worry about the other things because that takes my energy away from my creativity. But then I think that's where you get isolated and you don't have any touch with reality because you don't buy anything. You don't know how much money you have. You don't pay bills. It's just you're detached.
Yeah, everything else is kind of taken care of for you.
Okay, but that kind of sounds great.
No, I would love that, but like, and that in itself,
have to think.
That in itself is kind of shifted because we're talking about like the Van Goghs and the Leonardo DiCaprios, the Leonardo da Vinci's, and your Michelangelos and your other turtles. You're talking about like those were like the posh rich people doing it, and now you have like corporations doing that for artists and graphic designers and actors and like studios that are owned by corporations that own this corporation that funnel it through this fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And
either way, I'd love it.
And while the outcome is art, the reason the art is produced generally is to make money. And so the art is pure in many ways, and many artists are pure, but the reason that they are able to do what they do is because somebody's making money off of it.
So we just need a rich beneficiary, Sandy.
We
is
need a
what we
patron.
A Patreon?
A patron.
A patron.
That
We need a
pays
patron.
us.
Yeah.
We just need one.
Do we? I mean, what if
Wealthy
they can only
person.
pay $5?
One wealthy
Wealthy.
patron. Maybe this Vin win is, maybe we can sort of
Maybe Vin's
work.
Maybe you could hop on Seeking Arrangements and see if anybody's looking for a sweet podcast to fund.
What's up? We're a super cool podcast looking.
We need a sugar daddy or sugar mama,
We need a sugar.
basically, to take us on.
Man.
Yeah.
We'll do the podcast. We'll do whatever you ask for, and you just have to sugar us.
Listen, it's harder to find than it sounds. Okay.
If there's any sugar daddies or sugar mamas or sugar theys that want to fund us, please send us an email at everythingistraumatic@gmail.com.
We're gifted kids who
Services are
can't stay on track.
negotiable.
What'd you say, Jeff?
Services are negotiable.
Oh, hell yeah.
Services are negotiable. Guys, this is...
Yeah, I'll do some foul shit for the dog farm. Let's go.
well, let's put a pin in that. This has reached its logical conclusion.
Just when we're getting hot and heavy, we're talking about sugaring.
You got to tease for
Apparently,
the sugar,
that's
Jeff.
what it's called for the people that look for sugar
Sugaring?
daddies. It's called sugaring.
Sugaring. Yeah, do some more foul stuff for that sugaring, Sandy. Guys, do you guys have any final thoughts on being a gifted child? Being like,
Which we didn't talk about at all.
being successful, which we did kind of talk a
I
lot
know.
about. So
In a turd.
I think we're gonna name the episode "Successful is Traumatic" or something.
Success is dramatic.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on that, Sandy? 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Fail more. I don't know.
Jeff, any final thoughts? Yeah, 15.
Everybody has a gift of some sort. It's just finding what that gift is.
Sometimes that gift is performing fellatio.
For money.
On yourself.
Oh,
That's
guys,
the gift that
Thank
keeps
you.
on giving.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this mess of an episode. I told you guys it wasn't going to be good, but I
It's okay.
appreciate you sticking around.
Just having Sandy on classes things
Yes,
up a lot.
Sandy, thank you for being on the podcast yet again.
I didn't want Brandon Hill to miss my velvety voice.
I know Brandon really was he gave a shit last week, so Brandon, here you go. From all of us here at Everything is Traumatic, I'm Tyler.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Sandy.
And please take care of yourself.